गिरिधारी और बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यालिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षरस बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़ीय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। श्री श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। द गौड़ीय भाष्य श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्रीमान नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। जय श्री जगाय माधाय उद्धारण लीला की जय। जगरानंद माधवानंद की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। स्वपार्षद श्री गौर हरि की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Dandavat pranams, everybody. Let's begin because I'm started a bit late today. Right. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana-shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावदातो सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरो करुणावतारो। नमस्त्रिकालसत्याय जगन्नाथसुताय च सभृत्याय सपुत्राय सकलत्राय ते नमः। जय 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 विश्वम्भर द्विजराज जय विश्वम्भर प्रिय वैष्णव समाज। गौरचंद्र जय धर्म सेतु महाधीर जय संकीर्तनमय सुंदर शरीर। जय नित्यानंदेर बांधव धन प्राण जय गदाधर अद्वैतेर प्रेम धाम। जय श्री जगरानंद प्रिय अतिशय जय वक्रेश्वर काशीश्वरेर हृदय। जय जय श्रीवासादि प्रिय वर्गनाथ Jiva pratikora prabhu shubha drishtipat. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jeno amriter khanda. Je katha shunile ghuche antar pashanda. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha bhai shuno ekachite. Sankirtana arambha hoilo jeno mate. Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparādha lakshai. Kshiptashtakamadhitaranga madhye. Kripamayi tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore muro loko shuno Chaitanya Mangal. Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas. Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das. Vrindavana Dasa Koilo Chaitanya Mangal. Jahara Shavane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal. Chaitanya Nitāir Jate Janiye Mahima. Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima. Bhagavate Joto Bhakti Siddhanter Sar. Likhiya Cheni Hajani Koriya Udhar. Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashande Javan. Sheho Mahā-bhāgavatas hoy Tatakon. Manushe rachite nare aiche granta dhanya. Vrindavana dasa mukhe vakta Śrī Caitanya. Vrindavana dasa pode koti namaskar. Aiche granta korite ho tarila sansar. Narayani Chaitanya uchishta bhajan. Tar garbe janmila Śrī dasa Vrindavan. तार की अद्भुत चैतन्य चरित वर्णन जहाँ श्रवण शुद्ध कोइल त्रिभुवन सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृतेर धार वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृतेर धार. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. The 13th chapter, Jagāi and Mādhāi, Udharan Lila ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari ki jai. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat Pranams. Let's see who's there. Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, Shubhananda Prabhu, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook. Oh, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, Hari Bol. And Rup Manjari Didi, Nitai, Ganga Mataji, and Manmohan Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Hari Bol. All right, so we are continuing on with this most intense, dramatic, beautiful, heart-melting chapter, everything. This chapter is just a bit overwhelming, isn't it? The deliverance of Jagāi and Mādhāi, chapter 13. Okay, so we will read the summary. First, we'll read the summary by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, written when he was Pranavananda Brahmachari, during the time of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. All right. Hari Bol Raseshwari Mataji. All right. This chapter describes how Mahaprabhu spread the glorification, worship, and teachings of Krishna to each and every house through Nityananda and Haridas. It also describes their preaching to Jagāi and Mādhāi, Mādhāi's attack on Nityananda, Mahaprabhu's arrival at that spot and his invoking the Sudarshan Chakra, the two brothers surrender at the lotus feet of Gaur Nityananda's forgiveness and deliverance of Jagāi and Mādhāi, the demigod's service to Gaur, and the consequences of committing vaiṣṇava-aparādha. Okay, so now here's the more in-depth summary. Since the pastimes of Śrī Gaurasundara are perceived through the eyes of love, ordinary people who were devoid of such love considered him simply as Nimai Pandit. Only fortunate souls saw his manifestations according to their respective qualifications. One day, Mahaprabhu instructed Nityananda and Haridas to go door to door and beg everyone to worship Krishna, chant Krishna's names, and practice Krishna's teachings. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha. And at the end of the day, inform him of the results. Although everyone there at first laughed on hearing what they were to beg, Nityananda and Haridas took the instruction on their heads and began to beg such alms from door to door. When householders respectfully invited the two sannyasis to accept alms, the two would, according to Mahaprabhu's instructions, beg them to chant Krishna's names, worship Krishna, and practice Krishna's teachings. And then they would leave. Although pious people were happy to see their wonderful method of begging alms, and they promised to follow their request, some people blasphemed Lord Chaitanya and considered the two to be madmen. Some people were unable to enter Srivasa's house during kirtan. Some people who were unable to enter Srivasa's house during kirtan, they violently attacked the two and threatened them with royal punishment. Talk about envy and jealousy. Hari Bol Hari Priya Didi. But being empowered by Śrī Caitanya, Nityananda and Haridas did not pay the least attention to them. Actually, they laughed. In other words, they fearlessly went on with their activities. One day, the two Prabhus saw the most sinful drunkards, Jagāi and Mādhāi. On seeing their pathetic condition, the hearts of Nityananda and Haridas, the most merciful deliverers of the fallen souls, their hearts began to cry. Considering the two brothers as brilliant examples for Mahaprabhu's pastime of delivering fallen souls, they resolved to inform them of Mahaprabhu's most auspicious instructions, despite the potential dangers in doing so. Thus, they loudly requested them to worship Krishna. In spite of committing numerous sinful activities, Jagāi and Mādhāi never had the opportunity of accumulating vaiṣṇava-aparādha. So as a result, their good fortune for achieving the mercy of Gaur Nityananda was awakened. So really, like, the only thing we need to be concerned about is not committing vaiṣṇava-aparādha. Everything else will take care of itself if we're in bhakti. If we can just not commit vaiṣṇava-aparādha and also accept what our faults are, like, if we just accept our position, we don't try to pretend we're something we're not, and we don't commit vaiṣṇava-aparādha, then we are fit candidates for mercy, and we'll be. Blasphemy of Vaiṣṇavas is a grave offense. It checks all piety and results in all degradation. Without the mercy of a Vaishnava, even Krishna's holy names, which are the best form of atonement, even that best form of atonement, Krishna's holy names, cannot nullify an offense committed against a Vaishnava. All the scriptures have warned everyone by boldly declaring this fact. On hearing the call of Nityananda and Haridas, the two rogues thought that their carefree life was being disturbed, so they chased after the two sannyasis. After the two Prabhus ran away, they narrated the incident at the feet. And I loved that was like one of my favorite parts is the argument, the quarrel with Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. After the two Prabhus ran away, they narrated the incident at the feet of Gaurasundara, who was sitting in the company of devotees. And they requested him to fulfill the meaning of his name, Patit Pavan, by delivering those sinners. When the assembled Vaishnavas realized that the two sinners have already been delivered by the merciful glance of Nityananda, they chanted the name of Hari in ecstasy. When Haridas Thakur, I also love this part. When Haridas Thakur describes to Advaita Acharya the various forms of Nityananda's restlessness and the difficulties that he had to experience as a result, Advaita glorified Nityananda on the pretext of criticizing him. Thereafter, Jagāi and Mādhāi came and camped on the bank of the Ganga where Mahāprabhu used to take bath. As a result, many people became frightened. They'd go in groups of 10 to 20 people just so that they wouldn't be alone. On hearing the sound of Mahaprabhu's kirtan at night, the two drunkards thought it was in glorification of Mangal Chandi, and they danced wildly under the influence of intoxication. Later, when they saw Mahaprabhu, they praised his kirtan. When Nityananda Prabhu went before them, one night with a desire to deliver them, Mādhāi hit him in the head. Jagāi was distressed on seeing this, and he checked Mādhāi and chastised him for committing such a sinful act. On receiving this news, Mahaprabhu immediately went there with his associates. When he saw that Nityananda's body was covered with blood, he called his Sudarshan chakra in order to punish the two sinners. Jagāi and Mādhāi saw the Sudarshan chakra with their own eyes. The most merciful Nityananda Prabhu informs the Lord that he had been protected by Jagāi and begs the Lord to spare the two brothers. When Mahaprabhu heard that Jagāi had protected Nityananda, he mercifully bestowed ecstatic love on him. On seeing Jagai's good fortune, the heart of Mādhāi was also transformed, and he fell at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and begged forgiveness. Mahaprabhu, however, did not agree to bestow mercy on him. Rather, he instructed Mādhāi to take shelter at the feet of Nityananda and requested Nityananda to bestow mercy on Mādhāi. On the instruction of Śrī Gaur, Mādhāi fell at the feet of Nityananda, who requested Mahaprabhu to bestow mercy on Mādhāi in exchange for all of his own piety. For Nityananda Prabhu's own piety, he says, take all my piety and please bestow mercy on Mādhāi. By the order of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda then tightly embraced Mādhāi and entered into his body. Right? Because Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, that Shakti, the Sandhini Shakti, Adhar Shakti, enters our heart and makes a place where Radha and Krishna can come in, where Sandhini and Samvit can enter the heart. So he entered Mādhāi. In this way, both the Jagāi and Mādhāi were delivered, and they began offering prayers to the two lords. So we stopped at this point, I think. Actually, maybe we went a little bit further. No, we went further. Yeah. Mahaprabhu then forbade them from committing sinful activities again. When they accepted this proposal, Mahaprabhu accepted the burden of their millions of lifetimes of sinful activities. After realizing the mercy of Mahaprabhu, Jagāi and Mādhāi fell unconscious to the ground in ecstasy. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu had the two unconscious brothers brought to his own home, and after closing the doors from inside, he sat down in the association of the Vaiṣṇavas. Due to transformations of ecstatic love, the two brothers began to roll on the ground. When, by the will of Gaurasundara, Śuddhā Sarasvatī appeared on the tongues of the two brothers, they began offering meaningful prayers to Śrī Śrī Gaura-Nityānanda. As everyone there heard the drunkards' prayers to the lords, they were struck with wonder and considered this the causeless mercy of the Lord. From that day on, Mahaprabhu included Jagāi and Mādhāi and he included Jagāi and Mādhāi among his own associates, and he personally begged all the Vaishnavas to forgive their offenses and bestow mercy on them. After falling at the feet of all the devotees and receiving their blessings, Jagāi and Mādhāi became free from all offenses. Their sinful reactions were then deposited with those who blasphemed the Vaishnavas. Yeah, wow. Their sinful reactions were then deposited with those who blasphemed the Vaishnavas. Yikes. By the order of Mahaprabhu, all the devotees then began a huge kirtan in which Mahaprabhu and the two brothers danced. At the end of the kirtan, everyone sat down, their bodies covered in dust. And Mahaprabhu declared that Jagāi and Mādhāi were mahā-bhāgavatas. After ordering everyone to respect them as mahā-bhāgavatas, he warned that if anyone acted to the contrary or criticized the two, they would be ruined as a result of that vaiṣṇava-aparādha. Thereafter, Śrī Śrī Mahaprabhu took everyone to the Ganga. I think we're reading up to this point. I'll just finish it because we only have one more paragraph. So, thereafter, Śrī Śrī Mahaprabhu took everyone to the Ganga, wherein they all freely engaged in tumultuous water sports. In those water sports, everyone was defeated by Mahaprabhu. In the water sports between Śrī Advaita and Nityananda, Advaita Prabhu glorified Nityananda on the pretext of criticizing him and revealed that he himself was Lord Vishnu. At the end of the water, you can never directly glorify Nityananda. No, it's always on the pretext of criticizing him. It's their very sweet relationship. At the end of the water sports, Mahaprabhu gave his own flower garland prasad to Jagāi and Mādhāi and sent everyone to eat lunch. During this period, the demigods would daily come to see Śrī Caitanya's pastimes and offer various services, but no one other than the Lord recognized them. Thereafter, the author ends this chapter with a description of the formidable consequences of Vaiṣṇava-aparādha. All right, so what time is it? 7:26. Okay, let's just, I don't know, maybe we have 4 minutes. Maybe I can just go over some of the verses. I'm not going to read all, just like some of the main key verses that we went through yesterday. Let's see. What is Raktapat? Just trying to find a keyword of anyways, let's see. What's another word? Oh, I found it. God, I'm so spaced out. Okay, there. Raktapat. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Okay, so whenever there's kirtan, Jagāi and Mādhāi would stay there and listen to the kirtan. When they heard the kirtan, they'd get up and dance. They were so overwhelmed by drinking wine that they did not remember where they had been or where they were. But anyways, they joined Mahaprabhu's kirtan every night outside of Mahaprabhu's house. They said, we'll bring you, we have expert singers. We wish to see that. Yeah, anyways, we already read that. Okay, so seeing those miscreants, the Lord kept distance. Others took another path and fled away. After wandering throughout the city one day, Nityananda went that night before the two. Jagāi and Mādhāi shouted, "Who are you? Who are you?" Nityananda replied, "I am going to the Lord's house." Intoxicated by wine, they asked, What is your name?" Nityananda replied, "My name is Avadut." Intoxicated in the mood of a child, Lord Nityananda spoke to the drunkards as his pastime. Balya Bhave. He had already decided, I will deliver these two. That is why he came there that night. On hearing the name Avadut, Mādhāi became angry. He picked up a clay pot and hit the Lord's head. The broken clay pot cut the Lord's head, and blood flowed from the wound. Yet Lord Nityananda simply remembered Govinda. On seeing the blood, Jagāi felt compassionate and grabbed the hand of Mādhāi when Mādhāi prepared to strike the Lord again. Then Jagāi said, "Why did you do that? You are very cruel. What will you gain by beating an outsider? Leave Avadut alone. Do not beat him again. What will you gain by beating a sannyasi?" Some people quickly went and informed the Lord, who immediately came there with his associates. The entire body of Nityananda was covered with blood, yet Nityananda smiled as he stood there between the two. When the Lord saw the blood, he lost external consciousness out of anger and repeatedly called out, "Chakra, chakra, chakra." The Sudarshan chakra immediately appeared there and was seen by Jagāi and Mādhāi. All the Lord's devotees became bewildered, but Nityananda immediately appealed to the Lord as follows: when Mādhāi hit me, Jagāi saved me. By providence, blood came out, yet I felt no pain. O Lord, give me these two in charity. Please be pacified, for I feel no pain. On hearing the words, Jagāi protected me, the Lord became happy and embraced Jagāi. He said to Jagāi, "May Krishna bestow mercy on you. By protecting Nityananda, you have purchased me. Ask me for any benediction you desire. May you attain pure devotional service from this day on." On hearing the benediction awarded to Jagāi, all the Vaiṣṇavas chanted, "Jai, Jai, Hari, Hari." As soon as the Lord said, "May you attain pure devotional service," Jagāi immediately lost consciousness due to ecstatic love. The Lord said, "O Jagāi, get up and see me. I have indeed awarded you pure devotional service." Jagāi saw Vishwambar having 4 arms, holding conch, disc, club, and lotus. Seeing this, Jagāi fell unconscious to the ground. Lord Śrī Caitanya then placed his lotus feet on Jagāi's chest. Receiving the treasure of the Lord's lotus feet, which are the life and soul of Lakshmi, Jagāi held them tightly as if they were invaluable jewels. The fortunate Jagāi shed tears as he held the Lord's feet. Such are the wonderful pastimes of Lord Gauranga. Jagāi and Mādhāi were like one soul with 2 bodies. Yet here, one was pious and one was sinful. When the Lord bestowed mercy on Jagāi, the heart of Mādhāi was immediately rectified. He quickly released Nityananda's cloth, fell flat, and held the Lord's lotus feet. "O Lord, we both committed sinful activities together. Why do you divide us while bestowing your mercy? Bestow your mercy on me so that I can chant your name. There is no one to deliver me other than you." The Lord replied, "I do not foresee your deliverance, for you have drawn blood from the body of Nityananda." Mādhāi said, "You cannot say this. Why are you forsaking your duty? Why did you award your lotus feet to the demons that pierced your body with arrows?" The Lord replied, "Your offense is greater than theirs, because you have drawn blood from the body of Nityananda. The body of Nityananda is superior to mine. I emphatically tell you this truth." "O Lord, if you're telling me the truth, then tell me, how will I be delivered? You destroy all disease, for you are the crest jewel of all physicians. If you treat me, then I will be cured. O Lord of the universe, please do not deceive me. Now that you are known, how will you hide?" The Lord said, "You have committed a grave offense. Go and grab hold of Nityananda's lotus feet." Being ordered by the Lord, Mādhāi then caught hold of the invaluable treasure of Nitai's lotus feet. By taking refuge of those lotus feet, one is never vanquished. Revati knows well the glories of those feet. Vishwambar said, Listen, Nityananda. Now that he has fallen at your lotus feet, it is proper for you to show him mercy. Since he has made you bleed, only you can forgive him. And now he has fallen at your feet." Nityananda replied, "O Lord, what can I say? You have the potency to bestow mercy even through a tree. I declare emphatically that if I have ever accumulated piety in any lifetime, I give it all to Mādhāi. He is relieved of any offense committed against me. Do not bewilder him. Bestow mercy on your Mādhāi." Vishwambar said, If you have actually forgiven Mādhāi, then embrace him and make his life successful." On the order of the Lord, Nityananda tightly embraced Mādhāi, who, as a result, was freed from all material bondage. Nityananda entered the body of Mādhāi, and Mādhāi became filled with all energies. In this way, the two were delivered, and they began to offer prayers at the lotus feet of the two lords. Okay, so that's where we read up to yesterday. Now we're continuing on. What time is it? 7:33. Okay, I went 3 minutes over. Not too bad. Prabhu bole tora ar na koris pap. Jagāi Mādhāi bole ar nare bap. The Lord said, "Do not commit further sins." Jagāi and Mādhāi replied, "Ar nare bap, never again, O Lord. Never again, never again." Gaudiya Bhashya by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvatī Goswami Prabhupada. Being overcome with greed for material enjoyment, godless people commit various sinful activities. The most merciful Gaur Hari forbade the two rogues from committing sinful activities in the future. Jagāi and Mādhāi fully accepted the Lord's order and promised not to commit sinful activities again. Prabhu bole shuno shuno tora dui jan satya satya ami tore korinaya mochan koti koti janme jata ache papa tor ar jadi na koris sab daya mor. The Lord said, "Listen, both of you. I have indeed delivered you today. I take full responsibility for whatever sinful activities you have performed in your previous millions of lifetimes, provided you do not commit sin again." Gaudiya Bhashya. Persons who are inclined towards the service of the Lord retire from material enjoyment and dedicate all their endeavors for the pleasure of Krishna. They then no longer hanker for accumulating piety or impiety in this material world. The devotees then fully surrender themselves and enjoy spiritual happiness as they constantly engage in the service of the Lord. Since after becoming freed from material bondage, self-realized living entities offer whatever activities they perform for the service of the Lord, all their activities, like bathing, eating, and sleeping, are counted as service to Krishna and are therefore situated on the spiritual platform. Then the conditioned soul's sinful reactions accumulated over millions of lifetimes are at once removed. All sins and resultant sufferings are thus destroyed by the mercy of the Lord. Other than influencing the weak living entities to become averse to Hari, the covering and throwing potencies of Maya cannot exhibit any influence on the devotees. The fully surrendered, self-realized devotees are soon nourished on the lap of liberation and then do not indulge in any form of pious or sinful activities. The declaration of Krishna in the Sarva Dharma Parityaja verse, so the declaration of Krishna in the Sarva Dharma Parityaja verse is the destroyer of the living entity's miseries. And in square brackets, it has that verse. Abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So that declaration of Krishna is the destroyer of the living entity's miseries. Mahāprabhu said to them, Ton tohar mukhe mui koribo ahar tor dehe hoibek mor avatar. I will eat through the mouths of you too, and I will incarnate in your bodies. Hari bol Sudevi Didi. Gaudiya Bhashya. Narayano paro vidvan yasyanam pitamana sahashnati tadharer asyam gattam annam nasangshaya. The Supreme Lord relishes through his lotus mouth the foods that pious people devoted. The Supreme Lord relishes through his lotus mouth the foods that pious people devoted to Hari eat. There is no doubt about it. Wow, that's a very neat verse. The Lord eats through the mouth of his devotee. Bhaktasya rasanagrena rasam ashnami parmaja. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas, chapter, whatever it's called, section 10. I relish the taste from the tips of the devotees' tongues. Prabhur shuniya vakya, Jagāi Mādhāi, Anande murchita hoy, porilo tathai. On hearing the Lord's words, Jagāi and Mādhāi fell unconscious in ecstasy. Moha gelo dui vipra ananda sagare, bujhi agya korilen, Prabhu Vishwambhare. The illusion of the two Brahmans was thus destroyed, and they merged in an ocean of ecstasy. Knowing this, Lord Vishwambar instructed them as follows. Gaudiya Bhashya. Despite taking birth in a pure Brahmin family, Jagāi and Mādhāi gave up the prestige of Brahminical birth and took up the profession of rogues. Now, by the mercy of the Lord, they regained their lives. Since their foolish enjoying propensity was removed, they became conversant in Vedic literature, which deals with the three subjects of Sambandha, the soul's relationship with the Lord, Abhidheya, the regulated activities for reviving that relationship, and Prayojan, the ultimate goal of life. After being established in genuine Gaudiya conceptions and engaged in the service of the Lord, they became filled with spiritual ecstasy. Since Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath became their worshipable lords, their illusion was vanquished. Oh, Haribo, Mayuri. So great to see you here. Mayuri Gandharvika. Okay. Dui jane tuli loho amar barite, kirtana koribo dui janer sahite. Mahāprabhu said, pick these two up and bring them to my house. Today, we will perform kirtan with these two. Brahmar durlaba aji e donhare dibo, e donhare jagater uttama koribo. Today, I will award them that which is rare for even Lord Brahma. I will place them in the topmost position in this world. Gaudiya Bhashya. After forgiving the rogues' offenses, the causeless merciful Gaurasundara awarded them the qualification to participate in the hearing and chanting the glories of Lord Hari. From the material point of view, the two were antisocial atheists. They were uplifted from extreme abomination and awarded the qualification to engage in the topmost service of Lord Vishnu. The good fortune that Lord Brahma, the grandfather of all living entities, is worthy of, yet unable to achieve. Today, these two attain superior good fortune as they obtain the position of topmost Vaiṣṇavas. The extent of Śrī Gaurasundara's mercy has no limit. Through his causeless mercy, he can permanently elevate the most fallen and unqualified persons to the highest platform. E dui parashe je korilo Ganga snan, e donhare boli beshe Gangar saman. Those two took bath in the Ganga after being Mahaprabhu was saying, those who took bath in the Ganga after being touched by these two will now say that these two are equal to the Ganga. Gaudiya Bhashya. Thanks, Mayuri. Gaudiya Bhashya. By touching or seeing these two rogues, the sinful propensities of living entities would awaken. But after receiving the Lord's mercy, the unholy darshan of the two rogues has today become as purifying as the touch of the Ganga, which destroys all sins. Nityananda pratigya anyata nahi hoy, Nityananda icha e jani ho nishchoy. The determination of Nityananda is never baffled. Know for certain that this was the desire of Nityananda. Jagāi Mādhāi sha Vaiṣṇave dhoriya, Prabhur barir abhyantare gela loya. Thereafter, all the Vaishnavas caught hold of Jagāi and Mādhāi and took them inside the Lord's house. Gaudiya Bhashya. Considering the two rogues as part of their own group, the Vaishnavas brought them into Śrī Gaurasundara's house. Aptagan sambhaila prabhur sahite, porilo kapatakaro shakti nahi jaite. The intimate associates entered along with the Lord. The door was then closed, and others were not allowed to enter. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Aptagan Sambhaila means that the intimate associates of the Lord and the two rogues who were just delivered by the Lord entered the Lord's house. To check the entry of others, the door was closed. Boshilo Ashiya Mahāprabhu Vishwambar, Dui Pashe Shobhe Nityananda Gadadhar. Mahāprabhu Vishwambar came in and sat down. Nityananda and Gadadhar sat on either side of him. Sammukhe Advaita Vaishe Mahapatra Raja, Charidike Vaishesha Vaishnava Samaja. Advaita, the greatest recipient of the Lord's mercy, sat in front of the Lord, and all the Vaishnavas sat around the Lord. Pundarika Vidyanidhi Prabhu Haridas, Garuda Ramai Srinivasa Gangadas, Vakreshwar Pandit Chandrasekhar Acharya, Esab Janin Chaitanyar Sabakarja. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Haridas Thakur, Garuda Ramai Srinivas Gangadas, Vakreshwar Pandit, and Chandrasekhar Acharya. They all knew the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Aneka Mahanta Ar Chaitanya Bediya, Anande Voshila Jagāi Mādhāi Loya. Numerous exalted devotees happily sat with Jagāi and Mādhāi around Lord Chaitanya. Loma Harsha Maha Ashru Kampa Sarva Gai, Jagāi Mādhāi Dohe Gora Gori Jai. As Jagāi and Mādhāi rolled on the ground, their hair stood on end, they shed tears, and their entire bodies shivered. Kar Shakti Bhujite Chaitanya Abhimata, Dui Dasyu Kore Dui Mahā-bhāgavatas. Who has the power to understand the desire of Lord Chaitanya, who transforms the two rogues into mahā-bhāgavatas? Gaudiya Bhashya. The pastimes of Śrī Caitanya-dev are most grave and incomprehensible to ordinary people. The qualification of mahā-bhāgavatas that a living entity cannot achieve even after favorably serving Hari for many lifetimes, that great fortune, that great qualification was attained by the two unqualified rogues within a moment. Therefore, no one is qualified to understand this power. Tapasvi sannyasi kore parama pashanda, e mata lilatan amriter khanda. The Lord delivered many atheistic ascetics and sannyasis by such nectarian pastimes. Gaudiya Bhashya. The atheistic demigod worshippers were delivered from their sinful activities induced by their individual material desires and were engaged in the service of Hari. These sweet pastimes are ideal examples of Śrī Gaurasundara awarding portions of nectar on the living entities. Ihate Vishwasa jar Shri Krishna pai, ite jar sandeho she adapate jai. Anyone who has faith in these pastimes attains Krishna, while those who have doubts fall down. Gaudiya Bhashya. Wow, that's a long prayer, but okay. Those who cannot understand Lord Krishna's Gaur pastimes and as a result become maddened by material enjoyment can never achieve inclination for the Lord's service. Therefore, their absorption in matter is inevitable, and various material miseries push them down to a lower status of life. Yet the devotees of Śrī Gaur can easily engage in the service of Krishna. People in this world who are greedy and desirous of material enjoyment endeavor to become masters of material objects rather than servants of the Lord. Therefore, their degradation is inevitable. Unless one realizes that attainment of the inclination for Krishna's service is the only supreme aim and topmost of all goals of life, unless one knows this, then one will degrade further from his inauspicious condition. When the living entity is greedy for objects indicated like the Brahmi, Kharoshti, and Sanki, those are some ancient languages of India. So when the living entities is greedy for objects indicated in those languages and words, he comes under the control of the covering and throwing potencies of Maya and becomes attracted to material enjoyment. At that time, his faith in lavishly eating and enjoying in this world expands, which results in his downfall. By discussing spiritual literatures, a materialistic living entity day by day develops a taste in his own materialistic propensities. What? That seems like the opposite of what it's supposed to be saying. By discussing spiritual literatures, a materialistic living entity day by day develops a taste in his own materialistic propensities. Is that a mistake? When one at the lotus feet of the spiritual master receives sound vibration saturated with vidvad rudhi, are the conventional meaning of words according to enlightened persons. So like the actual true import of words, the enlightened understanding of words. Then his eagerness for eternal spiritual variegated pastimes that are transcendental to material nature increases. And at some point, we're going to read that book, Gaudiya Darshan, and there's a lot about the meaning of Vidvad Rudhi and Agya Rudhi. That, like, when you hear this Harikatha, it's not just it's actually darshan, like you're actually perceiving it, you're having experience of it. That's like a real understanding. That's Vidvad Rudhi. He then does not accept ingredients of enjoyment as the object indicated by avidvad Rudhi, but accepts Lord Vishnu as the eternal object of his senses, and thus, by receiving mercy and hearing from his spiritual master, he becomes faithful. At that time, the knowledge of Śrī Radha Madan Mohan Krishna protects him from sentiments for material enjoyment. In order to award Krishna's devotional service, which is the process for achieving the goal of life, Śrī Radha Madan Mohan then appears as Śrī Radha Govinda with their associates to give the eligibility to enjoy the pleasure of their service. Then the living entity attains the ultimate goal of life in the Ras Lila arena of Śrī Gopi Jana Vallabha. Such are the glories of faith in the lotus feet of Śrī Gaurasundara. Attaining foolishness from the deceitful nature of those who speak enviously about Gaur and who are expert in word meanings, they should never be the object of one's faith. Oh, that was cool. At first, we get the mercy of. This is what we say in our Mangala Charan every day, right? First, we say the Pranam mantra to Radha Madan Mohan, who protects the Radha Madan Mohan will protect us from sentiments for material enjoyment. And then afterwards, they'll appear as Radha Govinda with all their associates. And like in the Pranam mantra, Divyad Vandara Nikalpa Durmada, right? It has all the gopis, right? So all the associates are in there. And then one attains the ultimate goal of life, the Ras Lila arena of Gopi Jana Vallabha. It's Gopinath. Shriman Rasarasaram Bhi Vangsivata Tatastita. Parshan Venu, right? The Ras Lila. So all that was in those pranam mantras that we say every day. Okay. Jagāi and Mādhāi dui jane stuti kore, sabar sahite shune Gauranga Sundare. The two, Jagāi and Mādhāi, then began to offer prayers that were heard by Śrī Gaurasundara and his associates. Śuddhā Sarasvatī dui janer jivai, Śrī Caitanya-Chandra Prabhur Agyai. By the order of Lord Chaitanya Chandra, Śuddhā Sarasvatī, the goddess of transcendental knowledge, appeared on the tongues of those two. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Śuddhā Sarasvatī refers to the appearance of the personification of service in the Vidvad Rudhi of the living entity's object of speech. Vidha Sarasvatī, the goddess of mixed or contaminated knowledge, creates a difference between the words of Pushkarasadi, Sanki, Koroshti, and Brahmi languages and the objects indicated by those words. She creates a difference between the languages and objects indicated by those words of those languages. So living entities who desire to become the husband of Saraswati, they attempt to worship Saraswati Devi with material ingredients. But they cannot realize that Narayan is the husband of Śuddhā Sarasvatī. Therefore, their attempts to become the husband of Vidya Saraswati result in their becoming followers of Ravan. Nityananda Chaitanya Prakasha Ekatra Dekhilen Dui Jane Jar Jai Tattva. Seeing Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya together there, the two could understand their actual identity. E mate stuti kore dui mahashai, jai stuti shunile Krishna bhakti labhya hoy. In this way, the two great personalities began to recite prayers. Anyone who hears these prayers attains Krishna bhakti, devotional service to Krishna. Do you want to attain Krishna bhakti? Then we have to hear these prayers by Jagadananda. Now their names are Jagadananda and Madhavananda. Jagāi and Mādhāi. Jaya Jaya Mahāprabhu Jaya Vishvambar Jaya Jaya Nityananda Vishvambaradhar. All glories to Mahāprabhu. All glories to Vishvambar. All glories to Nityananda, who is the support of Vishvambar. He holds Vishvambar. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu serves Vishvambar in 10 different ways. That is why his name is Vishvambaradhara. Vishvambaradhara. Without taking shelter of the lotus feet of Śrī Nityananda, a living entity cannot have any concept of Vishvambar. One second. Okay. Jai Jai Nija Nama Vinodayacharya Jai Nityananda Chaitanya Sarvakarja. All glories to the acharyas who take pleasure in chanting their own names. All glories to Nityananda, who does everything for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya. Gaudiya Bhashya. Acharya mam vijaniyam navamanyetta karhichit namarte buddhyasuyeta sarva deva mayo guru. One should know the acharya as myself and never disrespects the acharya in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. Apani achari dharma jivere shikai. That's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. One should teach religious principles to the living entities by personally following them. Śrī Gaurasundara, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, and Śrī Advaita Prabhu are all Vishnu Tattva. Śrī Caitanya Dev is the most supreme absolute truth. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu is also the supreme absolute truth. And Śrī Advaita Prabhu, he is also the absolute truth. Wait, there's the most supreme absolute truth, the supreme absolute truth, and the absolute truth. Okay, so there's a superlative and superior and anyways. Okay. In the pastimes of Śrī Gaur, they enacted and preached pastimes of relishing the holy names by their personal example. Only those whose own behavior is favorable to the teachings of Śrī Caitanya, they take shelter of the lotus feet of Śrī Nityananda in order to become qualified followers of Śrī Nityananda. All activities of Śrī Nityananda and Śrī Caitanya were meant to establish the principle of relishing the chanting of their holy names. All the activities of Gaura-Nityāi are meant to establish the principle of relishing the chanting of their holy names. All the activities of Śrī Nityananda and Śrī Caitanya were corroborated by the behavior of Acharya Śrī Advaita Prabhu. Since from the impersonal point of view, the words of Śrī Advaita Prabhu were not in accordance with the practice of relishing the holy names, all aspects of Achinta Bheda Bhed have been glorified in the teachings of Śrī Caitanya. The activities unfavorable to sadachar, or proper behavior, engaged in by Jagadish, Balaram, and Swarup, who gave up behavior favorable to such preaching, while identifying themselves as Advaita Acharya's sons, they are totally unfavorable to the activities of Chaitanya and Nityananda. Okay, so those are Advaita Acharya's sons. Their names is Jagadish, Balaram, and Sarup. But those sons gave up they gave up behavior favorable to preaching, even though they identified themselves as Advaita Acharya's sons. But no, they were, yeah. The behavior of Krishna and Gopal was simply the behavior of Krishna and Gopal was simply contemporary imitation of the Acharya's relishment of the Lord of the holy names. Okay. So the other two sons, they're just imitation of Advaita Acharya's relishment of the holy names. Since Srimad Achyutacharya followed the behavior of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, his position as an Acharya is fully respected. When forgetfulness of the behavior of Sri Advaita Prabhu, who was the Acharya in relishing his own names, became prominent among persons who identified themselves as his followers, Srinivas Acharya was established as the Acharya of the Sri Gaudiya Vaiṣṇavas. The manifestations and incarnations of the Acharyas belonging to the category of worshipable objects have been entrusted all of Sri Gaura-Nityananda's activities in the Acharyas belonging to the category of worshippers. Although the preaching of kirtan mixed with the mood of opulence in the areas surrounding Mumbai by Namdev Acharya, who followed the principles of Lakshmidhara, the author of Nam Kaumudi, was not fully accepted by Vittala Acharya, the world of Gaudiya Vaishnavas achieved the pastimes of relishing the holy names with the Nam Kirtan propagated by Acharya Srinivas. The pastimes of preaching the chanting of the holy names in the footsteps of the Acharyas who relish the chanting of their own names. The pastimes of preaching the chanting of the holy names in the footsteps of the Acharyas who relish the chanting of their own names by Acharyas who relish the chanting of the Lord's names are proper examples of accepting without attack the philosophy of Achinta Bheda Bhed. That was a complicated sentence, but I think I get it. The pastimes of relishing the Lord's holy names are established in the current of pure devotional service found in those who are fully prepared to act for the pleasure of Nityananda and Chaitanya. Wow, this is a long purport. The phrase Nijanam refers to the holy names of Krishna. Those names of Krishna, non-different from the person Krishna, that preacher of Krishna Nam Sankirtan, Śrī Caitanya-dev, who in the form of a congregational chanter of the holy names reveals the all-attractiveness of Krishna's worship, and that Nityananda, who as Gaudiya Namacharya preached the teachings of Śrī Caitanya and Navadvip door to door with Śrī Haridas, who relished the chanting of Nijanam. Let these Acharyas, who relish the chanting of their own names, be eternally glorified. Look, that was all one sentence. So let these Acharyas, who relish the chanting of their own names, be eternally glorified. Let us repeatedly glorify the Acharyas, who relish the chanting of their own names, and who displayed expertise in proper behavior by the establishment of Sri Nityananda's Nam Hatta in Sri Godrumadvip, a particular village of ancient Navadvip. Nadiya, oh Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan, Patiyache Nama Hatta Jivera Karan. Everybody who's here watching, there's a beautiful recording of Mayuri singing this on the Gaudiya Kirtan page. If you ever want to learn how to sing this song, she sings it in a really beautiful melody. In the land of Nadia, on the island of Godrum, the magnanimous Lord Nityananda has opened up a marketplace of the holy names meant for the deliverance of all fallen souls. As a result of the preaching of Nityananda's Nam Hatta and Sri Godrum, the topics of offenseless chanting of the Lord's holy names have been preached in the current world of so-called Gaudiyas. Wait. The topics of offenseless chanting of the Lord's holy names have been preached in the current world. Why does it say so-called Gaudiyas? And by the vibration of that Nijanam, the indirect names, the Gonanam, are rejected, and the avidvad rudhi of sounds is totally checked. By the influence of Śrī Nityananda's establishment of Nam Hatta, the devotees, headed by Śrī Advaita, distributed the ecstatic holy names at the ghats of Nadia. Let those persons who properly follow this process of chanting the holy names, which is the purport of Achinta Bheda Bhed Vedanta, be glorified. Kishore said that he's seen the recording of Mayuri singing it, and he can confirm it was sung beautifully. Yes, it is. Jai Jai Jagannath Mishrer Nandan, Jai Jai Nityananda Chaitanya Sharan. All glories to Jagannath Mishra's, Jagāi and Mādhāi are saying, all glories to Jagannath Mishra's son. All glories to Nityananda, who is fully surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. Jai Jai Shachi Putra Karunara Sindhu, Jai Jai Nityananda Chaitanya Bandhu. All glories to Shachi's son, who is an ocean of mercy. All glories to Nityananda, who is Lord Chaitanya's friend. Jai Raja Pandita Duhita Praneshwar, Jai Nityananda Kripa Moy Kolevar. All glories to the beloved Lord of the Raj Pandit's daughter. All glories to Nityananda, whose body is filled with compassion. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Sanatan Mishra took birth in the family of Raj Pandits. Poets headed by Jayadev, the author of Śrī Gīt Govinda, were renowned as Raj Pandits. Lakshmi Devi, the daughter in the family of Raj Pandits, incarnated to serve Śrī Śrī Gaura-Narayan. On seeing Śrī Gaura-Narayan's display of vipralamba rather than opulence, Śrī Lakshmi could not remain steady. In order to serve the Lord's vipralamba pastimes, she abandoned all the opulence of Vaikuntha and manifested a mood of subordination to Lord Chaitanya's feelings of separations in the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya. In order to demonstrate that the feelings of separation, which enhance the conception of conjugal pastimes that Lord Krishna exhibited in his Gaur pastimes, in order to demonstrate that these pastimes are supremely relevant for unfortunate people, Gaurasundara became the life and soul of the Rajapandit's daughter, Vishnupriya Devi. May those pastimes be glorified. The knowledge manifested from the words of various languages derived from the base languages like Brahmi, Koroshti, Sanki, and Pushkarasadi fades in the presence of Vidvad Rudhi. I've never heard these languages before. But anyways, thirst for material enjoyment entraps the living entities in nescience and turns them away from the Lord's service. But transcendental poets, like Sri Jayadev in the beginning of his Gīt Govinda, which deals with 8 subjects. So Jayadev, but transcendental poets like Jayadev in the beginning of Gīt Govinda have revealed unfolding considerations regarding the relationship between the energies born in their families with the energetic. Okay. Okay. Śuddhā Sarasvatī Thakur's writing is sometimes, very, what's the word, terse. 255. Shri Joy Prabhu Tumi Jato Koro Kaj, Jai Nityananda Chandra Vaiṣṇavadhiraj. All glories to the activities of the Lord. All glories to Nityananda Chandra, the emperor of the Vaishnavas. Gaudiya Bhashya. Shri Nityananda Prabhu is the emperor of the Vaishnavas. Pure Vaishnavas are always eager to serve the Lord in the mood of separation. Wait, Nuri Hari Prabhu is saying you can't see the text. You can't see the text? Can anybody else see the text? That's strange because it looks like everything's running okay. Anyhow.
Oh, I got it now. I got it. Yeah, for a
Okay,
minute
got it.
there it was so black.
Oh, okay. So pure Śrī Nityananda Prabhu is the emperor of the Vaiṣṇavas. Pure Vaiṣṇavas are always eager to serve the Lord in the mood of separation. By displaying the ideal example of serving Krishna in his pastimes of searching for Krishna, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu has achieved domination over Lord Gaurasundara. No one has ever distributed such mercy on the Gaudiyas as Śrī Nityananda has in his pastimes of awarding the ecstatic love for Krishna that was distributed by the munificence of Śrī Caitanya. By his mercy, by Nityananda's mercy, there is a ray of hope that the living entities of this material world may become qualified for the service of Lord Gaurasundara's intimate associates like Śrī Gadadhar, Śrī Rup, Śrī Sanatan, Śrī Sarup, and Śrī Raghunath. The activities of relishing the holy names by Vaiṣṇava-Adiraj Nityananda, who is Patiyache Nama Hatta Jivera Karan, who has set up the marketplace for distributing the holy names to the living entities, that's what distinguishes him as the Acharya. Let Nityananda be repeatedly glorified. Hari Bol Mayuri. Okay. Jai Jai Shankara Chakra Gada Parmadhar Prabhur Vigraha Jai Avadhuta Vara. All glories to the Lord who holds the conch, disc, club, and lotus. All glories to the best of the Avadhuts who is non-different from the Lord. Jaya Jaya Advaita Jivana Gaura Chandra Jaya Jaya Sahasra Badana Nityananda. All glories to Gaura Chandra, the life of Advaita. All glories to the thousand-headed Nityananda. Jai Gadadhara Pran Murari Ishwar Jai Haridasa Vasudeva Priyankar. All glories to the life and soul of Gadadhar and the Lord of Murari. All glories to the benefactor of Haridas and Vasudev. Papi udhari le jata nanaya avatare Parama arbhuta taha ghoshaye sangsare. You have delivered numerous sinful persons in your various incarnations. This is glorified throughout the world as most wonderful. Amadui patakir dekhiya udar alpatva pailo purva mahima tomar. So you've delivered numerous sinful persons in your various incarnations. This is glorified throughout the world as most wonderful. But by delivering us too, however, your past glories have become minimized. Because these sinful persons, these numerous sinful persons that you delivered in your previous incarnations are nothing compared to us. So all your glories for delivering sinful persons in your previous incarnations have been minimized. Ajamil udarer jatika mahatva amar udhare sheho pailo alpatva. Even the glories of delivering Ajamil have been minimized by delivering us. Satya kohi ami kichu stuti nahi kori uchite Ajamil mukti adhikari. We are not flattering you, we are speaking the truth. Ajamil was actually fit for liberation. Koti Brahmavadi Jadi Tava Nama Loy Sadyamuk Moksha Padatar Vede Satya Koi. It is stated in the Vedas that a person who has killed millions of Brahmins immediately attains liberation if he chants your name. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 6.13.8, it is stated, Brahma ha pitri ha gogno matri ha charya ha gavan shvada pulka sako vapi Shuddhēran yasa kirtanat. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, one who has killed a Brahmin, one who has killed a cow, or one who has killed his father, mother, or spiritual master, my God, can immediately be freed from all sinful reactions simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Narayan. Other sinful persons, such as dog-eaters and chandals, who are less than Shudras, can also be freed in this way. My God, that's intense. Okay, the Padma Puran Uttarkhanda chapter 41, it is stated, Brahma ha hemadhari va bala ha gogna eva cha muchyate namat matrena prasadat keshavasya tu. One who kills a Brahmin, one who steals golds, one who kills a child, one who kills a cow, and one who commits other heinous sins can immediately become freed from all sinful reactions by simply chanting the names of Keshav. Wow. Among all offenses in this world, there is no offense comparable to becoming envious of the Vaishnavas and Brahmins and killing their Brahminical qualities by inducing them to give up their devotion to Vishnu. Wait a second, let me reread that. Among all offenses in this world, there is no offense comparable to becoming envious of the Vaishnavas and Brahmins and killing their Brahminical activities by inducing them to give up their devotion to Vishnu. The knower of Brahman is supreme within the 14 worlds. Among the knowers of Brahman, perfection lies in achieving devotional service to Vishnu. And by the influence of devotional service to Vishnu, love of God, the prema bhakti, the ultimate goal of life, is achieved. If a living entity becomes envious of devotional service, he cannot develop a taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord. Then attachment for accepting a path other than devotional service is seen. This is Brahmavad, or killing of a Brahmana. But even after engaging in this kind of Brahmavada, if by the mercy of a devotee, the living entity awakens a propensity for chanting the holy names, he becomes freed from the offense of killing millions of Brahmins and realizes that the Lord and his name are non-different. At that time, the avidvad ruddhi of the living entity's words is checked. Krishna's name is Krishna, and until other words that are separated from Krishna manifest through vidvada ruddhi, the living entities invite inauspiciousness due to imagining such differences. In this way, the living entity attains aversion to Krishna and becomes busy awarding different meanings to words. The philosophy of Achinta Bheda Bhed removes the differences between the avidvaduruddhi and the vidvaduruddhi of words and destroys the dualities in the conceivable world of material enjoyment. This purport will start making a lot more sense to us after we study this Gaudiya Darshan thing. There's a whole section on Spotavad and anyways, this is an important topic that we will be entering into hopefully sometime soon. Heno nama ajamila koila ucharan te chitra nahe ajamiler mochan. Such a name was vibrated by Ajamil, so his deliverance was not very wonderful. Yeah, okay, whatever, he's delivered. Yeah, that's kind of ordinary. Gaudiya Bhashya. Ajamil was engaged in various sinful activities. He became freed from them by the influence of chanting the Lord's holy name. Sinful activities such as killing Brahmins are not destroyed by chanting the transcendental names and the misconceptions that arise in ordinary thought by considering the transcendental names as mundane sound vibration. But those who are acquainted with knowledge of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan can certainly understand that it is not at all wonderful for Ajamil to attain liberation as a result of chanting the transcendental holy names. Veda satya stapite tomar avatar mitya hoy veda tabe na koile udhar. You incarnate to establish the truth of the Vedas. If you do not deliver the living entities, then the words of the Vedas become false. Gaudiya Bhashya. We are sinful living entities. The topics of our deliverance by the chanting of the transcendental holy names are described in the Vedic literatures. You incarnate to establish this truth. If you do not deliver us, then Buddhist, Jain, and other communities opposed to the Vedas will think that the knowledge of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan is false. Do you want to make all the Buddhist, Jains, and other communities opposed to the Vedas think that this knowledge of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan is false? Then, if not, then deliver us. No, is that what it's saying? The topics are deliverance. Yeah. No, sorry. Okay, whatever. Mora droha koilo priya sharire tomar tatapiha amadui korile udhar. Yet we have harmed the... So let me see. It says, you incarnate to establish the truth of the Vedas. If you do not deliver the living entities, then the words of the Vedas become false. Yet we have harmed the body of your associate, and still you have delivered both of us. Gaudiya Bhashya. The conception of the material speculators who are opposed to the Vedas is to predominantly depend on the fruits of their worldly fruitive activities. We attacked you due to your miscreant We attacked you due to our miscreant nature. Therefore, you should have naturally awarded appropriate punishment to us. But on the contrary, you have delivered us. This transcendental knowledge is the purport of the Vedas. Eve bhuji dekho prabhu apanara mane, koto koti antar amra dui jane. O Lord, now just see how much difference there is between you and us two. Gaudiya Bhashya. If one carefully considers the two, our attack and your mercy, one will understand how many millions of miles of difference there is between you and us. Narayana nama shuni ajamila mukhe chari mahajana ailo she jana dekhe. On hearing the name Narayan from the mouth of Ajamil, 4 Mahajans came and appeared before him. Gaudiya Bhashya. The moment Ajamil uttered the name Narayan, 4 Vishnudutas came before him. Ajamil saw that. Ami dekhilam toma rakta pari ange, sangopanga astra pari shada sabha sange. We saw you, along with your associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. After we saw you directly, not just Vishnudutas, but we saw you directly, along with your associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions, after we drew blood from Nityananda. So even though we were more sinful than Ajamil, who's trying to call me? Anyways, even though we are more sinful than Ajamil, even though we were more sinful than Ajamil, we got a result much greater than he did. Gaudiya Bhashya. Out of envy, we attacked your anga, or limb, and drew blood. As a result, we were able to see your anga, upanga, astra, and parshad. The word anga refers to Nityananda and Advaita. The word upanga refers to the devotees headed by Śrīvas. The word astra refers to the name of Hari, and the word parishad refers to Gadadhar, Damodar Swarup, and others. By another consideration, anga refers to Krishna's supreme attractiveness. The word upanga refers to ornaments. The speciality of Mahā-bhāv is the astra, and the constant companions are the parishad. Wow, I've never heard this explanation before. The speciality of Mahā-bhāv is the astra. Huh. I'm going to have to highlight that. That's really neat. Okay. Gopya kori rakhi chilo. Gopya kori rakhi chila esab mahima. Ebe vyakta hoilo prabhu mahimar sima. Till now you have kept your glories concealed, but O Lord, the limit of your glories is now revealed. Ebe she hoilo veda mahā-bhāgavata. Ebe she bodai kori gaibo ananta. Never mind. Now the Vedas have become most authoritative, and now Lord Ananta will proudly sing your glories. Gaudiya Bhashya. By your influence and behavior, the science of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan has fully blossomed. Therefore, Ananta can now loudly sing the Vedic truths. Ebe shevidita hoilo gopya guna gram, nirlaksha udhar prabhu ihar shenam. Now your hidden quality has become manifest. O Lord, the name of this quality is Nirlaksha Udhar, causeless deliverance. Gaudiya Bhashya. Now your hidden quality is known to all. Delivering unqualified fallen souls by your causeless mercy is the shining example of this. Jadi bolo kangsa adi jotta daityagan, taharao droha kori pailo mochan, koto lakya ache tati dekho nijamane, nirantar dekhilek she narendra gane, tomasane jujhilek, kshatriyer dharme, bhaye toma niravadi chintilek marme, Tatapi narilo droha papa eraite, porilo narendra shab vangsher sahite. If you say that despite their attack, demons like Kamsa were also delivered, then consider what qualities they had. Those kings constantly saw you. They fought with you according to Kshatriya principles and constantly thought of you in fear. Yet they could not avoid the sin of attacking you, and as a result, they and their dynasties were destroyed. Gaudiya Bhashya. During the Swayamvar, the opposing kings could see your various hidden intentions. See Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, chapters 53 and 54. Tomare dekhiya nija jivana chadila, tabe kon mahajane tare parashila. They left their bodies while seeing you. Yet, which great soul cared to touch them? Amare parashe ebe bhagavata gane, chaya chui jai jan koila ganga snane. The pure devotees who once took bath in the Ganga after touching our shadow, they are now touching us. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those pure devotees who used to take bath in the Ganga to free themselves from the sinful reaction of touching our shadow, they are now directly touching us. Sarvamate prabhutor e mahima boro, kahare bandhibo shabe jani lekad dharo. O Lord, this is certainly due to your extraordinary glories. Who can be deceived now? Everyone is convinced. Mahā-bhakta gajaraj korilo stavan, ekanta sharana deki korila mochan. The great devotee Gajendra offered you prayers, and you delivered him because he was fully surrendered. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the valley of Trikut mountain, there is an attractive lake in Varuna's Ritumat garden. Once, one Gajendra came there with some female elephants and became maddened by sporting in the water. A powerful crocodile attacked his feet. Gajendra fought with that crocodile for 1,000 years, yet he could not get free from his grip. When Gajendra's strength gradually diminished and he could not find any other means, he began to offer the Indradumna Stotra to Sri Hari, who then appeared there, and after cutting the head of that crocodile with his disc, he delivered Gajendra. See Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th Canto, chapters 2 and 3, where we'll finish in 4 minutes. Okay. Daiveshe upama nahe asura putana, agabaka adi jato keho nahe sima. That example cannot be applied to demons like Putana, Aga, and Baka. Chariyashe dehatara gelo divyagati, veda bine taha dekhe kahar shakati. Although they attained the spiritual world when they left their bodies, who had the power to see that without Vedic knowledge? Je korila e dui pataki sharire, shakshate dekhilo iha shakal sangsare. Okay. But what you have done to us sinners, what you have done to us two sinners, however, has been directly seen by people of the entire world. Everyone has been able to see it. Jatika korila tumi pataki udhar, karo kono rupa lakhya ache sabakar. The sinners that you have previously delivered all had some qualification or another. They had some qualification or another. Nirlakshe tarila brahma daita dui jan, tomar karunya sabe ihar karan. But now you have causelessly delivered two persons who were Brahman demons. We were Brahmanas, Brahman demons. This is only due to your mercy. Bolia bolia kande Jagāi and Mādhāi, emoto apurva kore Caitanya Goshai. Jagāi and Mādhāi cried as they offered these prayers. Such are the matchless pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Jateka vaiṣṇava-gan apurva dekhiya, joda hate stuti kore shabe dandaiya. On seeing this matchless pastime, all the Vaishnavas stood up and offered prayers with folded hands. Jai stuti korilo Prabhu e dui madhyape, tor kripa bina iha jane kar bape. O Lord, without your mercy, not even one's father will understand the prayers offered by these two drunkards. Tomar achinta shakti ke bhujite pare, Jokon je rupa kripa koroho jahare. Who can understand your inconceivable energies, or when, how, and on whom you bestowed your mercy? Prabhu bole, e dui madhyapa nahi ar. Aji hoite e dui sevak. Aji hoite e dui sevak amar. The Lord said, these two are no longer drunkards. From today on, these two are my servants. Sorry, I have something in my throat. Shabe mile anugraha koro e duere, janme janme ar jeno amana pasare. All of you, bestow your mercy on these two, so that birth after birth they do not forget me. Je rupe jahara thai ache aparad, komiya e dui prati koroho prasad. Forgive whatever offenses they have committed against you, and show compassion on them. Shuniya prabhur bhakya Jagāi Mādhāi, sabar charana dori porila tathai. On hearing the Lord's words, Jagāi and Mādhāi fell down at everyone's feet. Sarva mahā-bhāgavata koilo ashirvad, Jagāi Mādhāi hoilo nir-aparādha. All the devotees blessed Jagāi and Mādhāi, who were then freed from all their offenses. Prabhu bole, Utho, Utho, Jagāi Mādhāi, hoilo amar das, ar chintanai, nothing to worry more. The Lord said, get up, Jagāi and Mādhāi, do not worry, for you are my servants. Tumi dui jata kichu korile stavan, paramasu satta kichu na hoy khandan. The prayers that you have offered me are certainly true. No one can refute them. E sharire kabu karo heno nahi hoy, Nityananda prasada se jani ho nishchoy. What you have experienced is not possible in these bodies. Know for certain that this was simply due to Nityananda's mercy. Tosavara jata papa muim nilo shava, shakshate dekoho bhai, ei anubhava. I have personally taken charge of your sinful reactions. O brothers, see for yourselves. It's 8:30. Okay, I'll end. Just 1 second. Let me go 1 minute overtime. Gaudiya Bhashya. Mahāprabhu said, O brothers, I have accepted the sinful reactions of Jagāi and Mādhāi. You will all see for yourselves. Dui jana sharire pataka nahi ar, iha bujaite hoila kaliya akar. In order to demonstrate that there were no more sins remaining in the bodies of those two, the Lord's body turned black. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since all the sinful reactions of Jagāi and Mādhāi took shelter in the body of Mahāprabhu, his body turned black. Advaita Prabhu said, Gaurasundara is looking exactly like Śrī Gokul Chandra. Prabhu bole tomra amare teko keno, Advaita boloye Śrī Gokula Chandra jeno. The Lord said, how do I look? Advaita replied, you look just like Śrī Gokul Chandra. Gaudiya Bhashya. Here the word keno means how. Advaita pratibhashuni hase vishvambar, hari boli dvani kore shab anuchar. On hearing Advaita's comment, Vishvambar smiled, and all the devotees chanted the name of Hari. Prabhu bole kala dekho duir patake, kirtana koroho shab jauk nindake. The Lord said, see how these two sinners are black. Perform kirtan so that their sins may take shelter in those who blaspheme. Okay. Gaudiya Bhashya. Mahāprabhu said, the forms of Jagāi and Mādhāi's sinful reactions are black. All of you perform kirtan, and then these black sinful reactions will take shelter in those who blaspheme devotees, and Jagāi and Mādhāi will be delivered from their sins. Shuniya prabhur vakya sabar ulas, mahanande hoilo kirtana prakash. Hearing the Lord's words, everyone became jubilant. They then began to perform kirtan in ecstasy. Nache Prabhu Vishvambara Nityananda Shange, Bediya Vaiṣṇavas Jasha Gai Range. Lord Vishvambar danced with Nityananda, and all the Vaishnavas surrounded them and sang the glories of the Lord. Nachaye Advaita Jar Lagi Avatar, Jahar Karane Hoilo Jagat Udhar. Advaita also danced. He had induced the Lord to incarnate and thus delivered the entire world. Kirtana koroye shabe diya karatali, sabai kore nritya hoy kutuhali. As they performed kirtan, everyone clapped their hands and danced jubilantly. Okay, we're ending with this verse here. Prabhu prati mahanande karo nahi bhoy, Prabhu shange koto lakha, thela theli hoy. They felt no fear as they bumped into the Lord's. They felt no fear as they bumped into the Lord thousands of times in their ecstasy. They kept on bumping into the Lord in kirtan, but they felt no fear due to their ecstasy. And then this is where we're ending for today. Then Mother Shachi and her daughter-in-law floated in an ocean of ecstasy as they watched everything from within the house. Everyone was filled with ecstasy after seeing this pastime. Their ecstatic love for Krishna was uninterrupted. The two drunkards danced in the association of he whose body the goddess of fortune is afraid to touch. In this way, Lord Chaitanya delivered the two drunkards and sent the blasphemers of the Vaiṣṇavas to the hell known as Kumbhipaka. Blasphemy does not enhance one's religious principles, it only results in sin. That is why fortunate souls do not engage in blasphemy. After transforming the two rogues into mahā-bhāgavatas, Śrī Gaura-Hari danced along with his associates. Overwhelmed from dancing, Lord Vishwambar sat down and all the Vaishnavas sat around him. Their bodies were covered with 2 inches of dust, yet they were all filled with pure knowledge. Lord Gaurasundara regained his former state, smiled, and spoke to everyone there. And we will hear what he said tomorrow. And then we'll also read, tomorrow we'll finish up this chapter. We'll hear about the water sports that they performed in the Ganga after this, and also we'll read about Vaiṣṇava-aparādha. It will be all tomorrow. My God, I went way over time. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. And okay, we'll end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Kishore Prabhu?
Joy Nitai. Jai Sabarkar Śrī Śrī Gaura-Nityānanda Hari Vika Kiti Hari Radha Vinod Vihari Radha Nainath Radhaman Vihari Radha Madhava Śrī Śrī Radha Gokula Chandra Ki Jai Sri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ji Ki Jai Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Paramahams Vrachakshari Varyasto Trishta Shishaman Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Paramahams Vrachakshari Varyasto Trishta Shishaman Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Paripavan Shri Gurudev Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishaman Bhakti Balabhtirtha Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishaman Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishaman Bhakti Vedanta Vikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Śrīla Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Śrīla Gauragunda Swami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Śrīla Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Goswami Maharaj Shrila Prabhupada Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishimad Bhakti Dvaitamad Goswami Param Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishimad Bhakti Brigyan Keshu Goswami Maharaj Param Gurudev Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Trishta Shishimad Jagurguru Shivarshapana Vidoitaras Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvatī Goswami Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Swaparikar Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvatī Goswami Thakur Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Mahāprabhu Paravar Paramhamsa Trishta Shishimad Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Natyalela Pravishtam Vishnupāda Sattam Goswami Trishta Shishimad Sachitananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mahashai Ki Jai कृत्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वमष्टोत्तरस्त शिशिमाद जगन्नाथ स्वामी महाराज की जय। श्री अखंडवासी सिद्ध शिलमर सुंदर स्वामी महाराज की जय। श्री उर्वरास उदरानदास की जय। जय गुरुविदान आचार्य शिशिल बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय। जय महामहोपतियाय शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय। जय शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय। जय शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय। जय शिल कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। जय व्यास अवतार अरिका विशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री अष्टकविराज वसुरजानन नित्यानंद दुरुष गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत जगाई मदाई की जय। जय श्री जगदानंद माधवानंद की जय। जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सरगोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रोय रमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ आदि गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय। जय नमाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। जय प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री ईश्वर परिपाद की जय। जय श्री माधवेंद्र परिपाद की जय। जय श्री अंतर्द्वीप मायापुर सिमन द्वीप गोद्रुम द्वीप मध्य द्वीप खोलु द्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानुद्वीप मात्रा द्रुमाद्वीप रुद्रद्वीप मात्मक श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। जय श्री गौरचंद्र भगवान की जय। जय श्री श्री गौर गदाधर जीव की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोपीनाथ गोपी कपागो गिरिगोवर्धन वृषभवनात्मक श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा सखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। जय वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। जय श्री ललिता विशाख चित्र चंपकलट तुंग विद्या इंदुलेख रंगदेवी सुदेवी अरि शक्ति वृंद की जय। जय श्री अनंग प्रेम भुजलाल शिवरूपलमंगा राघविल सुगुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरि मंजारी वृंद की जय। जय श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। जय श्री भगवती पूर्णमास योगमाय देवी की जय। जय श्री गोपीश्वर श्री शिव महादेव की जय। जय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय राधा परिंकित धाम श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। जय श्री मथुरा धाम की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र निरमार जीव की जय। श्री तत्वविनाथ की जय। श्री सर्वकुल की जय। श्री हरिदास ठाकुर समाधि मंदिर की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव स्थली की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ पुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। जय सर्व विघ्न विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्न विनाश श्री इंद्र सिंह देव की जय। जय भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। जय श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मींद्र सिंह देव की जय। जय श्री चरिताम श्री संप्रदाय चर्याचार्य की जय। जय श्री मध्वा रमनुज विष्णु स्वामी निम्बदित्य चर्याचार्य की जय। जय करमतरा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय। श्री गौरी मात वृंद की जय। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म आदि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। जय कुलतेर प्रेम धन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तर्क ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। जय श्री अनंत पुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय परम ब्रह्मन परमा सत्यम परमेश्वर पति पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ श्री विश्वम्बर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। परमा दयाल परमा करुणामय हे आदि गुरु आकंद गुरु गौरीश्वर श्री श्रीमान नित्यानंद राम की जय। भक्ति स्वरूप नित्यानंद बलराम की जय। Śrī Jaganananda Madhavananda ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Mahashaya ki jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrī Sita Dvaitarai ki jai. Śrī Chitananda Goswami ki jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Jai Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur ki jai. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Gauri Vaisya ki jai. Jai Śrī Nitāi Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Vrindaye Tulsi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatyaye Namo Namaha Panchakalapataro Vashta Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Radhe.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Dandavat pranams. Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Shubhananda Prabhu, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Sumukhi Didi, Haribol, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook, Rup Manjari Didi, Nitai, Ganga Mataji, Mohan Prabhu, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, Raseshwari Mataji, Haripriya Didi, Sudevi Didi, Mayuri, and everybody else. I see there's a bunch of other people watching also. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and letting me go overtime again. These past 2 days I went overtime, but this chapter is just, we read a lot of words. Like the word count was, I think, 6,000 or something like that. Tomorrow we'll only be reading 4,500 words. So I will definitely not go overtime tomorrow. We'll have a much shorter reading tomorrow. But yeah, thank you so much. All right. So does anybody, oh, wait. Yeah. All right. So if anybody has anything to say before we end for today, as a chance.
Off-topic question. Do you know Prabhupada's disciple Hamsakati Prabhu?
Yes.
Did he
Yes.
pass away? Did he
No,
pass
he didn't
away
pass
or
away.
no? Okay, good.
No, he didn't pass away. But he's in the Bhaktivedanta hospital right now, or Mayapur hospital. What do they call it? Yeah. And he's being very nicely taken care of, but he is very quickly deteriorating.
I see.
And he's not very lucid. But yeah.
But he's still with us.
He's still with us, but
Okay.
I don't think he'll be with us very much longer. Like it's right now, it's just like any day. I'm just waiting for the call, like to like, oh my God, now's the time, and I'm gonna go to Mayapur and like we'll do kirtan. But yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice
Yeah,
devotee.
they did recently take him to the mandir. They brought him inside and he had darshan of all Thakurji, like of Radha Madhav and Panchatattva, and did parikrama like that. Like they carried him there. And he's being very nicely taken care of. Jai Pataka Maharaj, he has like his main people looking after him and making all the arrangements, and yeah,
That's
so
great.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he came in 72 in Atlanta when Prabhupada was installing the Gaura-Nityānanda deities. At that time, Parama Karuna Bhaviduri Jana was sung there. It was an amazing time. Yeah. I remember one class as Padmanabh she was speaking, saying that Lord Brahma is praising the good fortune of the Brajavasis, and he's saying, I want to take birth as a stone when in Braj. And Padmanabh Maharaj was speaking to all of us. Does this sound very appealing to you? Taking birth as a stone in Braj? And Hamsakati Prabhu from the back of the room said, rock on.
Wait, what is that? Rock on. Yeah.
Yeah, rock on. Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in Nepal also. Like
Yeah. He was like the temple president there in Nepal.
Yeah.
Yeah. He met the former king and queen of Nepal too. Yeah.
If there are any like really big updates about him, I will definitely share here. I'll let everybody know about it.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I know him for a long time.
All right. So I'll see you all tomorrow for the end of this chapter. Tomorrow is going to be a very fun reading, the water sports. and how the demigods worshipped and worship the Lord, and then all about the water sports part will be fun, I mean. But then very grave, the all about vaiṣṇava-aparādha and how dangerous it is. So that those will be the topics for tomorrow. So
I remember hearing a story of some devotees. They were in the Ganga. And like I assume this was like maybe during the Parikram time that all the devotees were just like in the Ganga playing around. And then Gurudev was there, and they were like, okay, maybe we should tone down the fun. Gurudev is here. But Gurudev just looked at him and smiled, like, oh, this is good. This is like in the time of Mahaprabhu.
Would be fun.
Kai.
But then we also see the example of Kolavecha Sridhar, right? And who else? There's some other associates, not just Kolavecha Sridhar, but yeah, Kolavecha Sridhar and others who would never bathe in the Ganga because they didn't want their foot to touch the Ganga that they're worshiping. They didn't want so there's all different kinds of devotees who have different feelings and considerations and moods and all that.
Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Oh, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, that was it. He was the one who never, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
He never wanted his foot to touch Ganga water.
Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he wouldn't go and bathe in Radhakund. That was his mood, that he would not bathe in Radhakund.
Yes. Yeah, I remember hearing that also. Yeah. So yeah, when we go, if even our most worshipable personalities, they had that much honor, then what to speak of us? So we should, yeah.
I remember yesterday Nir Hare Prabhu said that he wanted to ask a question. Do you still remember it, Prabhu?
No, but there was one. I think it might have been from that term that about sound or something. It ends in Rudy, something Rudy.
Rudy and Avirad Rudy, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And it wasn't. It just went by me real fast. So but that will take some time, I'm sure. So you mentioned that.
Sorry.
No, the book by Prem Prayojana Prabhu.
Well, the book's not by Prem Prayojan, it's by Gurudev. It's Chara Evam Gaudiya Darshan. Actually, no, it's not Gurudev. It's by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvatī Thakur Prabhupada. And then Gurudev published in his book. And then Prem Prayojan translated it.
Okay.
So it's Gurudev's book. Prem Prayojan did, but it's very dense, very terse, very difficult to understand. And so Prem Prayojan did write something just like it helps a lot. If you read what he wrote, then everything that Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvatī Thakur says makes a lot more sense. He kind of like clarifies different things, and then it's not as difficult to read. So he did add in something. But yeah, I really want to go through that because it's important. It's like you really want to know the teachings of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvatī Thakur, like, and really understand what he's saying. This is it. This is like what will really make it. It's an important topic. But it's a lot of these two things, Vidvada-Ruti and Avidvada-Ruti Vritti.
Okay. And the other question, now I remember, we read all about the different sins. Do you remember?
There's can't forget that. Oh my God.
And I was wondering, where would we find I'm sure it's totally bona fide, and it's quotations from Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvatī Thakur, but he's quoting what? Do you remember what scripture? Or
I don't remember. I remember it mentioning something, like it mentioned Manu Sumita and one other scripture. I remember that being mentioned somewhere.
Oh yes, yeah. Now I got rather. Yeah, Manu Samhita is kind of the book of law. It's very, very heavy. I don't think most people in these days could stay alive if we follow it. Be alive, there'll be punishment, and the political or correctness or the controversy will just
funny though that the most crazy obscene things I've ever read was in Caitanya-bhāgavata of all books.
I
Like I've
know.
never heard anything like that heavy duty. I was like, oh my God.
There's some explanation to do, and for some sections of the population that they hear it, I'm sure. But yeah, it's curious because one of the sins was to not to lend money, not to charge interest, by lending money. That was another sinful thing.
Yeah.
But out of all of this, what was it? Not to approach the miscreants, and preach to them. And so it made me think the mercy of, the Lord is merciful, and more merciful is his other aspect as Nityananda, and Nam. Gurudev would say Nam is so merciful, and but we see that Vaiṣṇavas are even more so. Look at Prabhupada. He, in the midst of the debauchery and misconceptions and miscreants, he turned them. He turned everybody. He turned them.
Now, even Haridas Thakur himself was saying, right? This must be the result of preaching to the faithless. We've committed this nama-aparādha, right?
Right. But I think it was a little bit in jest, when they were
Of
like,
course, that whole thing was yes.
Yeah, it was the trust, and
I think with that, it's like we have to preach appropriately according to the audience. So we wouldn't tell intimate things that or if somebody's completely faithless, maybe we can give very general instructions, but we shouldn't tell the other, more details, I guess. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I see both, even with Gurudev, we were there in Navadip with Bhatrini, and we were in this room, and he had just published Gita Govinda, and some devotees came in and they said, "Oh, Gurudev, we're never going to read this book. We promise, it's too high." He said, "Yes, he noted. And we're never going to distribute it." I said, "Oh, okay. We're not qualified." And Guru said, "No one in the world is qualified." But at the same time, when those devotees left, he turned around to us and said, "No, but you have to, at this point in your devotional life, you should read it." And so this the fine discrimination that we have to do, and because the book was published and it widely distributed, and so then somebody would say, "Well, but that's just," because somebody did an offensive film. You've probably seen it. I'm not sure. Yeah. And so they even accused Prabhupada.
But even Gurudev stopped my father from giving the book to somebody also. Like Gurudev said, don't give the book. Like he told my father not to give Govinda or something like that. Like it wasn't like
some particular, yeah. So,
sometimes
of course,
people misunderstand Gurudev and they say that, oh no, Gurudev said all books for all people, but that quote gets wildly understood. And
yeah, I heard Rajanath saying that, all for all, like that.
No, but there are many instances of Gurudev restricting people from
time and circumstance.
Many, and so people, yeah, it's
we have so many. We have to see when you go out.
Understanding of Gurudev's words and Avid Vadhuruvi of understanding Gurudev's words.
Oh yes, that one.
What were you saying, Prabhu?
No, and when we did book distribution, and even nowadays we do distribute books with Bhatrini, but we try to figure the person where they come from, and accordingly, there's so many books that we can get, little books and like that, and start them up with some people with the Isopanishad and like that, or small books by Gurudev. Especially Shiva.
That was a beautiful thing in the science of self-realization, is seeing Srila Prabhupada talking to all these different types of people, and he would explain the same philosophy, but in a different way that they would be able to get it. Like he would speak very appropriately to each person, understanding what they would be able to grasp, what would really, that was. And so, it's very important to deal appropriately with the audience.
Yeah.
really understand them and know how to feel them like that.
Even one time he said, not to everybody you say Hare Krishna when you greet them. To some people you might say hello, or you very nicely, say, how are you, hello, like that. Or, good day. But if that creates, a favorable disposition towards the devotee and devotees, then you know what I mean? It's appropriate and it's okay, because that is their beginning. Also, the story, I'm trying to remember the story of this devotee was so merciful. He could come and go into the same lady. She first cusses him out, then she throws a dirty piece of cloth that she washed the floor with. Remember? And he washes it very well and makes weeks out, to give opportunity. Thank you, Prabhu.
I have another meeting at 9 o'clock. So we'll end here for now and see you all tomorrow for the end of this chapter 13. Right. Thank you so much for doing it.
Jagāi Mādhāi Prabhu's ki jai.
Jai.
Gauranga ki jai.
Jai.
And all the audience of devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, Hari Bol, Arjun Krishna Prabhu. Hari Bol. All right, Dandavat pranams, everybody. Ending now.